You ever wake up and realize the world's coming for your land? I mean, really coming not with bulldozers or bulldogs, but with suits, lies, and a dead coyote thrown in for good measure. That's how I found out I was at war before I'd even finished my first cup of coffee. And you know what? I don't back down from a fight. Not when it's about legacy. Not when it's about the land my granddad staked out back in the 70s dirt that still smells like family to me. So picture this. I'm up before dawn, Boots' muddy dog at my heel, just breathing in the silence. You only get out here where the sky's so wide you feel small and safe at the same time. My ranch has always been my church, my therapy, and my battlefield all rolled into one. That morning I was thinking about fence lines and irrigation valves, not lawsuits and sabotage. I checked on the cows, said hey to the college kids mucking out the stalls, loaded hay, just another day on the land, you know. And then Miguel comes running face pale, saying, "Senor, Brad, you need to come now." That's how fast a good morning turns bad. I get down to the southern edge, and there they are, 4 people. Uniforms, tactical vests, radios, 2 with guns, and the kind of attitude you can't buy at Tractor Supply. Their white trucks parked sideways like it owns the road. One of them waves a clipboard in my face and tells me they're shutting me down for chemical runoff, flashing a cease and desist order that, let's be honest, looked more fake than a $3 bill. And here's the kicker. Said the judge who signed it is a man I sell beef to every 3 months. Hell, I just had coffee with him last Tuesday. You expect me to believe he'd sick armed inspectors on my ranch without a word? Yeah, that happened. I told him straight, get off my land or I'll call the sheriff. Not the HOA lapdog, but the real one. I pulled my phone and started recording. Scout, my dog, let out a low growl that said more than words ever could. 5 minutes later, those so-called officials were gone, kicking up dust down my road. But when I checked the pumps, it was clear they'd messed with more than my nerves valve shut-off pressure lines disconnected. That wasn't an inspection. That was a message. Back in the house, I went through the security cam footage, hands shaking more from anger than age. No badges, no plates, not a single body cam. But one thing did stand out, a silver HOA pin, Liberty Hollow Estates. The same HOA that's been breathing down my neck for a year trying to buy up my south pasture. Their president, Karen Landsberg, queen of the passive-aggressive note, kindly suggested I sell every chance she got. Too noisy for their residents, too many smells. Now I could see just how far she'd go to get a better view. That night I found a certified letter taped to my gate suspension of agricultural operations, pending a hearing, no case number, just a P.O. box and a date. They wanted a fight. Fine. They'd get one. I barely slept. Every hour I checked the fence, replayed the footage, scanned for more damage. At sunrise, I took the ATV out and found the kicker, a dead coyote dumped in my canal next to a laminated evidence sheet just like the ones from their phony inspection. That's when I knew it wasn't just harassment. It was a setup. I called the sheriff. Now, Sheriff Riggins isn't exactly the chatty type, but he's old school, believes in land law and keeping things honest. He limped over in his cruiser, Vietnam shrapnel still slowing him down after all these years. He took one look at the coyote and the paperwork and said, "This isn't inspection, Brad. This is staging." I showed him the video of the so-called inspector dumping the animal, snapping pictures for their case. He watched without saying much, but I could see the anger simmering. Then comes the twist. Sheriff tells me about a group called Green Forward Texas, an environmental nonprofit that's been making noise about repurposing rural land for ecological integration. Funding's all kinds of sketchy, and wouldn't you know it, Liberty Hollow Estates is their top sponsor. Dig a little deeper, and it turns out the developer behind Liberty Hollow, Ashpine Holdings, is funding the whole circus. They tried to buy my land 2 years ago for 1/5 of what it's worth. I told them to take a hike. Guess they thought they'd try a different route, one paved with threats, phony evidence, and legal headaches. Then I get served court, summons, zoning violation, $150,000 fine, and an injunction to shut down the farm. I laughed so hard my dog barked. These folks really thought paperwork could erase 48 years of sweat and history. I called up Isla Sanchez, a lawyer with more grit than most men I know. She flipped through the lawsuit and said, "This isn't law. This is fiction." Turns out the zoning change they're using against me was rejected years ago. On the books, I'm still ag officially. But Karen's crew is counting on pressure and confusion to make me fold. While Isla's team's digging, we find more Liberty Hollows paying for off-duty cops to moonlight as HOA security, complete with real badges and unmarked trucks. One of them is Karen's cousin, Adam Landsberg. No wonder those guys look so comfortable trespassing. That's organized abuse of power, and Riggins knows it. Problem is, the city council's got their fingers in the same pie, so if I want justice, I gotta go higher. And here's where the game changes. 4 years ago, I let the Texas National Guard use my land for logistical training. Nothing crazy, just supply drills, water transport, things like that. I still have the federal contract. When Isla realized that, she grinned and filed a motion to dismiss the HOA suit, citing federal interest. We sent copies to the Inspector General and Department of Defense. Next thing you know, a major from the Army Reserves is calling me saying they take interference with the training facility very seriously. Suddenly, it's not just me versus the HOA. It's me and the feds versus a bunch of wannabe land barons. News spreads fast. A local reporter, Jesse Romero, comes out, cameras rolling. I walk her through everything: the footage, the sabotage, the paperwork trail from Karen to Green Forward to Ashpine. When the story hits the air, it blows up. Farmers, ranchers, and even a retired judge start reaching out. Turns out I'm not the only one they tried to strong-arm. People needed a voice, and apparently I was it. Then the real avalanche starts. Leaked emails show Karen orchestrating a smear campaign, board meetings where they talk about acquisition strategies and elimination scenarios for problem neighbors. When a whistleblower from Green Forward comes forward, admitting grant money was funneled to destabilize landowners, the feds move in. Warrants raids boxes of documents. My barn looks like an evidence locker. Karen's arrested her cousin, caught running with cash and burner phones, 2 off-duty cops in cuffs. In court, the truth comes out: fraud, conspiracy, racketeering, the works. The jury hears it all, from the fake inspections to the doctored environmental reports to the cash bribes paid out of HOA security budgets. The prosecution's got everything from satellite images of their so-called green belt to testimony from HOA board members who just couldn't stomach the lies anymore. Greg Sanders, who resigned, puts it best: it was never about safety, it was about acquisition. By the end of it, Karen gets 11 years, her cousin 9, and the HOA is dissolved. Their assets frozen, members refunded, and the land, it stays right where it belongs. I get damages enough to pay off debts. Hire new hands, set up a program for ag students, and buy back a hill Ashpine stole years ago, the one where I proposed to my late wife. I plant 50 trees, one for every year. My family's been here, and leave a spot in the middle, a reminder that some fights are worth every bruise. Sometimes I sit on the porch, coffee and hand scout at my feet, and listen to the wind, thinking how damn proud Granddad would be. Folks still drive by Liberty Hollow, but the sign's gone, and the green belt they tried to fake is wild again. Justice. It's never clean. Some neighbors left, some stayed, and some still believe Karen's side. But the ones who shake my hand and say thank you, those are the ones I did it for. So tell me, what would you have done? Folded or fought? Drop a comment below if you've ever tangled with an HOA or had to stand your ground for something that mattered. Was I right? Was I wrong? Or was I just stubborn? And hey, if you've got a story, share it, because the only way we beat the system is by speaking up together.